Assalamu alaikum everyone. Dr. Amnaskar here from Chemistry Department, Division of Science and Technology, University of Education, Lahore. Today the topic we are going to discuss is the validation and validation based on design qualification. Right, this is a topic from Analytical Chemistry, semester 4, BS semester 4. The course code is Chem 2112. Now, the key components or key concepts which are important and we will be discussing. The first one is definitely the validation, the term validation, and then the goal of validation, right? Some definitions relevant with the term validation, need of validation, why it is required, scope of validation, then the importance of validation, reasons of validation, phases of validation, and then after discussing the phases, design qualification is actually one of the phases of the validation. So design qualification. So validation is defined as a documented program which provides a high degree of assurance that a specific process will consistently produce a product meeting its predetermined specifications and quality attributes. That means you have some predetermined specifications and predetermined quality attributes or quality characters and which you have decided that your product should have, and this validation, this is a documented program. That means a properly documented process program which is going to ensure you that whether you are going towards your specifications, your attributes, or you are deviating somewhere. Another definition of the validation is that the validation is the process of evaluating the products or analytical methods to ensure compliance with the products or cleaning method requirements, right? So again the words are a bit changed, but the meaning of the statement is almost the same, which the first one is saying that this is the process of evaluating the products or evaluating your services which you are providing, and for that, whatever the methods you are using, are they going in compliance with the products or they are not going, right? Okay, then according to WHO, validation means providing documented evidence that any procedure, process, activity, or system actually leads to the expected results. This is what WHO, World Health Organization, says about the term validation. Now, introducing some of the details regarding the validation. So, the concept of validation was first introduced or proposed by two FDA officials, Ted Bayer and Bud Oftus, in the mid of 1970s. The decade, in the mid of the decade of 1970s, in order to improve the quality of pharmaceuticals, right? So the first time this term was introduced for the quality improvement process of pharmaceutical products, which are the drugs and medicines, in the simple words. According to the FDA, validation is establishing a documented evidence which provides high degree of assurance that a specific process will produce a product meeting its predetermined specifications and quality attributes. So again, what FDA is saying that this is the documented evidence, and the purpose of the evidence, the documented evidence, is to provide the assurance of maintaining the predetermined goals and specifications. Need for validation. Okay, it is actually a very basic requirement for the product quality system. Definitely, if you are producing a product, if you are synthesizing some product, if you are providing some services to the clients, whatsoever you are doing, the quality is the basic requirement. Quality is the most important requirement. So validation is the basic thing which is going to help you in this process, right? So validation assures you that every lot of each product, that means each product which is belonging to the lots, different lots, and every lot of each product that is released to the market will be consistently meeting all the requirements of the quality. That means validation is trying to maintain the quality of each product of every lot. That means every single product, right? Okay. Capable of achieving the intended results. Whatever the results are intended, whatever the results are required or desired, validation is going to help you in achieving those results. Okay. Importance of validation. So if you are following and maintaining the documented process of validation, what is the importance of maintaining this? Reduction of quality costs. Definitely, you are maintaining a proper documented evidence of each and everything. So the cost will be reduced because you are designing properly, you are going properly, you are going through the process properly, you are doing the process of validation at each and every step, at each and every product. So ultimately the cost will be reduced because the products जो जिनमें बहुत ज़्यादा एरर्स आ जाएं या फॉल्ट आ जाएं वो सब सारी बातें आपको डिस्कार्ड करने पड़ते हैं, तो उनका चांस मिनिमाइज हो जाता है. इन दैट वे you have reduced the quality cost. So you have gained a good quality product achievement. The target is achieved, yet you have controlled the costs, right? And the second is the process optimization. Definitely, when you are documented each and everything regarding the process, what you can do is you can optimize your process. You can do the changes, and you can get that. In this way, we are getting the product in in a better phase or a better quality. So you can optimize your process. Assurance of quality, definitely, yes, this is the basic goal. So yeah, ye to hai. Then is the safety. Yeah, if you are going through the whole process neatly, and you are keeping the records, and you are trying to keep each and everything in a predetermined, decided way, you will keep the product safe, you will keep the process safe, you will keep the system safe, and you will keep yourself safe as well. Increase outputs, definitely. Whenever you are going through a very organized process, at times you are getting the output which is even better than the proposed one, right? So when you are going through a proper quality assurance system, quality management system, and you are doing the validation properly at each and every step, yes, there is a chance that you can have increased output of the product. More rapid automation. Yes, if you have automated systems, if you are working in a laboratory and you have automated system and you are keeping the records of processes going through it, you can do the automation more rapidly. Okay, now reasons for validation. Up till now we have discussed many things about the validation, and now we are giving the reasons when we are doing the validation. Is it good or bad, or what are the reasons which are making this more important? So the first one is customer satisfaction. Definitely, if you are doing the proper validation of the process, doing proper validation of the system, proper validation of the steps and the products, you are going to get a nice, better quality product, and that will make your customer a satisfied customer. Number two, product liability. Okay, definitely, again, your product will be liable. Everyone, every consumer who's using your product, and every time the product turns out good, that will make the product liable for them. Reduce production costs. As this process results in the lesser number of faulty products, so at the end of the day you are getting your cost of the production reduced, right? So now sports improvements. You can get the improved system, you can get the improved services, you can get the improved products. So validation, if you are maintaining proper system of validation, yes, it supports the improvements. Regulatory requirement. It is a regulatory requirement as well, because validation makes the things smoother. So if you are keeping it as your regular practice to do the validation, it will be better for the system, the whole system. Prevention based activity, important part of the quality building process. This is actually when you are doing the validation from the start, you are actually preventing the quality loss or bad quality. So this is prevention, nice way to prevent the faults or the problems in your product or in your services as well. Expensive in the beginning, later will save the money. Yes, we have discussed this as well, that maybe in the start it will be a bit tedious and it will be a bit costly, but at the end, when all the products are going excellent and the customer is satisfied and your product is reliable for them, and you are getting every time lesser production costs, so at the end of the day, yes, it is going to save your money. Phases of validation. We have 4 phases of validation, and these are actually you can say the steps as well, steps for the validation or phases for the validation. The first one is design qualification, second one is installation qualification. Design qualification is at times called as DQ. Installation qualification is at times called IQ. Operational or operation qualification, OQ. Performance qualification, PQ. Validation, flow of events. This is a nice picture, which is if you go into detail of this flow of events, you can have a very nice clear idea that how the validation is going through the whole process. Right, so the first thing first is design qualification, DQ. You can see at the very left of the diagram, DQ is written, and at the top, validation master plan. So you have prepared a master plan for the validation, the process of validation, and then what you are going to do is you are going to go through 2 steps. Okay, the first step is the GXP requirement. This is actually good practicing requirements, right? GXP is actually an abbreviation of good practicing requirements, and the other side is user requirement specification, what the user is requiring from you or needs to get from you, that is the user requirement specification, URS. So you have 2 different categories which you are going to follow while designing your master plan for the validation and then starting it, that you have to see the requirement specifications of your user or your client, and plus you need to keep good practices in your area of work, right? Now the next is vendor selection. Okay, now if you're going to buy an instrument or you're going to buy some machine and or something else, your vendor selection, that is seller who is going to sell that thing to you, seller selection. You have to select a seller or a vendor which is again yes, who could be reliable, and you are giving him money or giving her money, and he is selling or she is selling a good instrument, good equipment to you. Okay, then is functional requirement specification. Now the next way, you have got the instrument. Now what you have to do is you have to maintain the functional requirement specifications as well, that उसकी कौन से functions हैं जो which are required by you. So you must have a clear specification that the what functions are required in that instrument or in that equipment. Now next is installation qualification, which is IQ. In that the first step is delivery, that the vendor has delivered the instrument to you, and then in installation, and then the instrument or the equipment is installed in your laboratory. We will be discussing these all in detail later on, but right now, just to have a nice clear picture of the validation events, flow of events, we are discussing this diagram. So after installation, OQ, that is operational qualification or operation qualification, that you are going to start the operation on your machine. So configuration, after installation, you have configured that everything is okay and you are easy and you are settled with the machine or equipment, and then write OQ plan, how to operate it. Write down. It will be easy. It will be not only easy, but it will be better for the machine and for yourself and for the process, all the things. Executive operational testing. Now you have written the operational qualification plan, and now test it, that is it working. If it is working, excellent. If it's not working, you need some changes, do the changes. Then the performance qualification, PQ, write PQ plan, how to perform on the machine. Executive procedural testing, then again test it. Last one is MQ. Okay, I haven't given MQ in the steps in the previous slide. Lekin MQ is the maintenance qualification. When you are using some machine, you are using some instrument, definitely the maintenance is very important. So you have to maintain the machine, you have to maintain the instrument, equipment, and for that, usage, maintenance, retirement, change control, each thing is important. Now, validation timeline. Vendor side, before purchase, structurally validated product. Whatever he is providing you, it should be structurally validated, DQ, design qualification. Then owner side, now you have got the machine. Before use, three things are important. Installation qualification, properly installed. Operational qualification, you must know how to operate the machine properly. Performance qualification, now the machine is operational properly, that will be considered in the operational qualification. And performance qualification, PQ, that you know how to perform on the machines, right? So this excuse me, this all is will be tackled in the functional validation. And after use, maintenance. And in maintenance, again, that maintenance is important, and operational and performance qualification is also the part of the maintenance. If you are properly operating, machine is properly operating, and you are properly performing, and you are properly maintaining, that will make the machine happy, and definitely your customer as well. Validation versus qualification. Now you have to keep in your mind that the validation refers to the total life cycle of a product, from development through use and maintenance, right? So validation is covering the whole thing. Owners are responsible for validating their processes, that is personnel, equipment, method, SOP. SOP stands for standard operating procedures, right, to ensure the compliance to GMP, GLP regulations. Now, validation again is a complete process. Now, the qualification. Qualification, if you can see, I have written a bit detail of the qualification. That is, what is included in qualification is the inspection, functional testing, and documentation review. Okay, and if I define it, this is a part of the validation process. Which part of validation process? I'm repeating. Which verifies module and system functional performance prior to being placed online. Online करने से पहले आप कर रहे हैं, उसको चेक कर रहे हैं. And therefore, according to a standard operating procedure, that is SOP, आप उसको follow कर रहे हैं, और उसमें आप अपने modules को और अपनी performance को verify कर रहे हैं. Okay जी. Okay जी, steps or the phases of qualification. Step 1, design qualification, DQ. This defines the functional and operational specification of a balance, instrument, or a process, right? And definitely when you are designing a process, in that case you need to know that from where the process is going to start और कहाँ तक जाना है इसको. तो आपको ये सारी specifications, operational specifications पता होने चाहिए. Step 2, installation qualification, IQ, ensures that the balance or instrument is received as designed and specified, right? So in installation qualification, as a second step after design qualification, you need to know that how it was designed, the process or the product, and when you are receiving it, is it in the same condition it was designed, or it was asked to design and it was asked to specify. It documents the installation in the selected user environment. definitely you got your machine, or you got your product, or you got your thing, and now you want to install your thing or your machine or your equipment in your environment. Now it is very important, if you are installing an HPLC in Oxford and in Lahore, there is hell of difference between the temperature of the two areas. So you need to keep the temperature in a specified limit, and for that you will be requiring a proper air cooling system, plus other requirements, the ventilation requirement. So that means what is your environment, that is very important. You have to install your thing in your environment, so you have to properly specify that I'm requiring the thing in this environment, and you will tell the requirements and the needs according to your place. Step 3, operational qualification. Okay, demonstrate that a balancer instrument will function accordingly to its operational specification in the selected environment. We have discussed it. Step 4, performance qualification. PQ, demonstrate that an instrument consistently performing according to a specification appropriate to its routine use. Okay, and step 5, as I have told you earlier, that I haven't given in the phases, as it's not the part of your curriculum, but this is the part of the qualification. So just for your knowledge, maintenance qualification MQ describes and documents any maintenance required on the equipment. Now, validation is a complete circle. We said the complete cycle of the process, and we are just taking a part of that circle or that cycle, and we are saying that this is the design qualification. Design qualification में important क्या क्या है? Vendor qualification. Vendor is reliable. He is providing the appropriate thing according to the requirement. Select instrument. Design qualification. For design qualification, this is also important, that you are selecting the proper instrument according to your requirements, according to your procedure, according to your product, and describe intended use of the instrument, and tell that how you are going to use your instrument. You have to keep the whole record, that from where you have got the machine, from where you have bought the machine, and while selecting what you have seen, and now you have bought the machine, so how you are going to use it. And at the next level, these are the operating instructions. These are important when you are going to use the machine. Declaration of conformity. This is also important when you are using your machine. When I'm saying declaration of conformity, conformity means confined with the standard rules and laws. Right, so declaration is a simple word for the formal statement. So you must be having a formal statement about how you are going to follow the standard rules of using this machine, right? And the quality management system, ISO, whatsoever the ISO is asking or requiring from you, definitely you have to follow those things as well. Design qualification. Design qualification DQ is the process of completing and documenting design reviews to illustrate that all quality aspects have been fully considered at the design stage. While you are designing the process, right? You have considered all the possible things which you are going to see or face during the process. The purpose is to ensure that all the requirements for the final system have been clearly defined at the start. At the start, you must be defining each and everything. And if you have if you are facing some problem, just note it down. Make it troubleshoot that problem and make it clear from the system, and just take the note about that problem as well, and then redesign your process so that next time around you're going to avoid that problem, right? So DQ or design qualification is actually the functional and the operational specifications of the instrument and details regarding the conscious decisions made in the selection of the supplier. DQ should ensure that the instrument have all the necessary functions and the criteria that is going to enable you and the machine to be successfully going through the system and going to implement all the requirements and the requirements and the needs of the user. There are a few steps which are, if you are following while doing the design qualification, helps you a lot, right? So what is helpful is that just describe the analysis problem. If you're getting some problem, describe it. Describe the intended use of the equipment. If you are using an equipment, what is the intended use? Design it properly. Intended environment kya hai? So describe the intended environment, the environment where you're going to use the machine. That is also important. Describe it. And if I'm saying this, that some of the important scopes of the design qualification or design validation protocol, that just verify the design will achieve the user requirement specifications जो भी उसकी हैं वो उसको अचीव करने जा रहा है आपका डिज़ाइन जो है, और वेरिफिकेशन डेट द सिस्टम विल बी कैलिब्रेटेड. आपने जब भी यूज़ करना उसको कैलिब्रेट कर लें. उसके अलावा इसमें एक दो चीज़ें और जो इम्पॉर्टेंट होती हैं वो ये होती हैं कि just write down if you are getting some flaws, if you are getting some faults, if you are getting some you are facing some hardships, just write down and redesign your process and redesign the things, or if it does not work, make it sure कि आप ये पकड़ सकें कि आपने गलती कहाँ की है. ठीक है, तो उसके बाद फिर ये है कि वो गलती किस वजह से हुई है. Make it clear and then redesign. It will work. Now, after a nice long discussion on validation and design qualification, I think people can do one thing, that just write down the differences between the validation and qualification. The first question you have to do is, and the second is, why is design qualification important for a successful validation? You have to answer this as well. You have to give me proper reason that why design qualification is important. And if we are not doing this, what can be the drawbacks, right? Okay, all the best. Stay safe, stay at your home, and please pray for each and every person who is suffering, and pray this as well कि अल्लाह ताला सबको महफूज रखे. आमीन. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.